Hi, folks, and welcome to the recorded version of the X Factor webinar. It was originally aired on April 2nd, 2014. For starters, we want you to understand what kind of results we had from the original airing of this webinar. It will give you some expectation of what you'll be able to achieve for yourself by following this webinar. At the beginning portion of the webinar, we asked all attendees, do you currently have at least one idea for what your X Factor might be? This was after we explained what an X Factor was. And at the beginning, 16% of attendees said yes, very clear. By the end, we did the poll once again, and 49% of business owners that were on the call said yes, very clear about what their X Factor is. We received incredibly positive feedback as well. We ask that you read this to get a sense of what you might expect from this webinar. This was unsolicited feedback. Okay, and quick introduction. My name is Nik Rajpal. I'm the VP of Client Services here at Exclusive Concepts. My email address is nrajpal@exclusiveconcepts.com. You can follow me on Twitter at NIK_RAJPAL, Nik Rajpal. I've been a speaker at Yahoo Summit, Sempo, Hosting Con, webinars with Google, Conversion Conference. My areas of expertise are e-commerce strategy, as we're going to be discussing today, organic search, paid search, conversion optimization, and email marketing. Now, who are we? I'll do a very quick introduction because it will make more sense as we discuss. We are a do-it-for-you e-commerce marketing service provider. We offer do-it-for-you e-commerce marketing that increases your profitability. Quick agenda. When we did this live, by the way, we encourage people to sign up to our future webinars because our live version always has a live QA after we're done with the presentation. We're going to first talk about why we did this, why we created this webinar. Start with our first example. And then we're going to do a full X Factor workshop. This is where people are generating ideas for their own business, where you'll be able to identify potentially at least one new idea of what your business's X Factor can be and how you can continuously grow with a little more ease. And then we'll review an execution checklist. We're inspired by a lot of different people. Ken Estridge, who is quoted here, strategy is how you plan to win. Ken is our advisor at our company. He helps us be more objective about the opportunity that we have here at Exclusive Concepts to grow. We believe that every business should have an advisor, an outside, objective, empirical advisor. Someone who can say, what I actually see is this. You guys may be a little bit too close to it to see. So I'm going to bring up some quotes from Ken throughout this presentation. I think Ken really sums it up best when he says, strategy is how you plan to win. Strategy is all about whether or not you can win, and if your strategy is good enough, then you believe you can win. All right, so let's start off with why we did this. The point that we wanted to make, and you will realize this as you go through, is that growth is not insurmountable. We speak with business owners all the time, and people are going through a lot of difficult things, especially since the beginning of 2011 when Panda came out and a lot of changes happened in the marketplace. And what we hear is, we've tried, we have all the passion in the world for our business, we have poured investment into our business, but the obstacles are too big. The economy, Google's random changes, and competition like Amazon. And we want to bring some form of a reality check here, guys. First of all, the online retail sector is growing. And the economy is growing as well. The economy grew 2.8% in 2013. If you didn't grow at least 2.8%, you're not keeping up with the economy. And if you're in online retail, your growth should be much higher than that. And you can blame Google's changes all you want to, but you know what? That's your agency's job. Your agency is supposed to figure out how to deal with Google. So for those of you who don't have a good agency, consider working with us because we can help you figure that out. That's not something that you should have as an insurmountable challenge in your equation of success. It should be incredibly doable. Most importantly, we hear that Amazon is entering my space, Walmart's entering my space, all these big players, or people are getting more sophisticated. There's just too much competition. And to that we say you need an X factor. That is where you can start changing the entire future outcome of your business. It's one of the most important things that any business can possibly have. It is probably the reason you will succeed or fail. So what is an X factor? You probably think about your competitive advantage all the time. Well, this is quite a bit deeper. Now, you have your market, and your market has a broad set of needs. And then you have your broad set of offerings and skills. What an X factor is kind of a sweet spot where the unique needs of a small sliver of your audience, just a small portion of your broader audience, they have very unique needs. And it just happens to be that you have the exact skills or offerings to meet those needs. It is going much narrower and much deeper with a particular market. Deeper than any one of your competitors are willing to go for that unique sliver of your audience. So let me demonstrate through a quick example. It's our story, and it's a very short one. We started off in the 1900s as one of the first online marketing companies, 1997 to be specific. And by 2013, so much had changed. First of all, as many people have experienced, SEO had changed dramatically. And by 2013, link building was dead. PPC at this point has become very lucrative for online retailers. Lots of change there. Conversion optimization. We were one of the first companies. We were the actual first company to ever offer full service conversion optimization. And by 2013, you had conversion pundits and VC-backed conversion software companies, a huge fragmented industry of conversion. And it was different from what we expected. Definitely different from what we thought retailers needed. And over the course of the few years leading to 2013, email marketing complexity was being touted as the next big thing. Don't do simple email blasts, do segmentation, triggered emails, A/B testing, pay for an ESP that is 10 times more expensive and you'll get 100 times better results. Unfortunately, this complexity was not keeping up with the profitability that it promised. So we didn't know what to do. We said, well, should we just respond individually to each of these market fluxes? Should we only offer PPC as our only solution now that it's so lucrative? Should we offer piecemeal conversion solutions because that seems to be the new demand? People are still asking for link building. Should we just offer it even though it doesn't work? And now people have been sold on this concept of more complex email. It doesn't seem to be making more money for anyone. Should we continue to offer it? So we tried to start off by looking at our strengths and said before we make any determinations to just be opportunistic, let's first look at our strengths. And our scientists came together, our SEO specialists, PPC specialists, Google Shopping, conversion, email, our strategists. And what we were able to determine, myself included, was that we do know how to drive qualified traffic. Or we understand the concept of qualified traffic. We understand how to utilize behavioral sciences and data, even in sciences like SEO, where behavioral data is not usually recognized as important. We have technologies and methodologies that focus on maximizing the efficiency of every marketing dollar. That's pretty unique. And we could do our methodology for a company that has 1,000 products or 100,000 products. We've created methods that are scalable. And while the geeks squeak together to talk about these big concepts that we're able to do, we were able to then boil it down to a layman term. We actually focus on profitability. At the end of the day, we go above and beyond trying to identify ways to make our clients more profitable. Good to know. Then we went on to our clients and we continue to survey our clients and ask them, what values do you care about? Because we think it's just profitability. What do you really care about? And the fourth highest area of interest, they said, well, we help grow revenue. They really like that. The third most common answer was, you help us compete better, which is good. That's part of what we wanted to do. Something that made us very happy. The number two most common answer was the quality of our team, because we spend so much trying to find the right candidates for our business. Our employees stay for a long period of time. We typically hire at the top of 100 candidates, so that it's a lot of work trying to get an answer like that. So that meant a lot. But number one was we saved them time, and we didn't think that was important, but then it made sense. Our clients, you could usually fit the entire team of one of our clients in one small room, maybe 1, 2, 3 people, and they're doing the day-to-day management of the business. They may have a warehouse or something, but yeah, they don't have the time to do marketing. They really don't have the time to do marketing in a competitive way. We're saving them that time. We're allowing them to focus on more important things that they need to do instead of trying to build new skill sets. So we're saving them time. And all of a sudden it made sense what we needed to do and how we needed to make our promises to the market, how we needed to optimize over time. That we become the best at do-it-for-you e-commerce marketing, and we consistently think about how to optimize our services towards increasing profitability. And then everything became clear. For all our challenges, we didn't need to be opportunistic. We needed to be consistent. Focus on SEO content that drives profitable results and is in line with algorithm changes. Don't worry about the fact that there's a demand for link building. Create new demand where we can actually demonstrate profit. Build PPC technologies and methods that make it easier to drive profitable results for our clients and take work off their plates. Continue to offer the most full-service conversion optimization program, because that's going to save people time. It's actually going to make more money if we keep our value, our price point as valuable as possible, and that's exactly what we did. And on the email side, we started becoming a denier. We said, you know what, complexity leading to profitability is not living up to its promise. So we're going to come to the market with a simpler concept for email that will probably drive even more profit than your complex concepts at a fraction of the cost. So as our X factor, when you look at the same concept that we were looking at before, instead of targeting all online businesses with all online marketing offerings, we now knew exactly what we were targeting. And we knew when to say yes and when to say no. We had clear parameters around who we were and who we were never going to be. And since it worked for us and it's helped our business so much, we've fostered a program to help our clients. So we are now the agency with internet marketing strategists that focus on mid and small online retailers at no additional charge. We have Tim Smith, Kevin Dacey, Stacey Bennett, Tom Yakis on our team. Strategists that work with clients on online strategy, and we don't charge our clients anything for this extra service. Because we know if we can help you define a better business plan and a better strategy, it is more likely that you are going to succeed. And if you succeed, you stay our client for life. So at this point, this is where we ask the question, do you have a sense of what your X factor is? At least one X factor. And only 16% of people said yes, very clear on what it is. Okay. Now let's get into the X Factor workshop. The X Factor workshop is a workshop that our internet marketing strategists conduct with our clients. It's something that we actually do for free for our clients, and we help them develop something stronger for their business. And it pours into everything that we do and everything that they do. So while you are going through this video, please grab a pen. Don't be shy. We definitely encourage taking notes. And luckily now this is a recorded version. You can play it back, play it forward. Send it to people that you know could benefit from this. Please don't forget to do that. If you're watching this video, you watch the live recording, and you know someone can benefit from this, please send it to them. Do good. Pass it along, pay it forward. I'm going to do 3 quick examples of how this X stock has changed 3 different businesses, because this will make the case for why this is so important. So the first example is one of our clients who has been in the aviation industry and at first targeted all aviation buyers, pilots, plane owners, mechanics, and even enthusiasts, people who just like to model airplanes and things like that. As we did the X doc, we started to hone in on one major strength. This client had $1.2 billion in inventory on a 62-acre warehouse. Can you imagine that? And the opportunity that matched up with it was that large buyers that actually need access to large inventory because they need to make a huge purchase, they were being underserved in the marketplace. So now we only focus on large buyers. And this client is on a pretty frequent basis getting $100,000 orders because we changed his entire business message. Example 2. It's a company that works with fraternities and sororities and sells t-shirts and hoodies and whatever it may be to brothers and sisters of fraternities and sororities. And at first they had no major claim. As we started identifying what competitors were claiming, one competitor was boldly claiming, we have served over 60,000 Greeks. And in our competitive analysis, we identified that this client of ours that we've been helping do all the marketing for, SEO, PPC, conversion, email, for about 10 years, by now we've helped them serve over 1 million Greeks. Not 60,000. And we started realizing that there's this major opportunity because these kids that are just crossing into their fraternity or sorority, they respect large and in charge. They respect the biggest, most fortified brand in the marketplace. Trustworthy, large inventory, everything. So we decided to be large and in charge. And now the new brand is reflected in one very succinct tagline: 1 million Greeks strong. We're continuing to work on new ways to further emphasize that into the community. But it's so powerful, and it overcomes your audience. Example 3, the client that used to sell quilts, and then over time they started adding just tons of inventory, well beyond just quilts. And their strength was that now with this wide selection of offerings, it is possible that someone who's bought from them in the past would now want to buy from them again, but something different. There's this lifetime value potential. And the major opportunity was that there's no major loyalty programs in this specific online marketplace. So if you have the inventory that could lead to a lifetime value, one way you get lifetime value and keep people in your circle is through a loyalty program. So now the site is creating, as its X factor, the best loyalty program in its marketplace. Okay? So those are examples. Now, how do you get to those examples for yourself? How can you become one of those success stories? The first thing you do when it comes to the X stock is your competitive analysis. You want to choose 4 competitors. Most of them should be direct competitors. You can have some indirect competitors as well. And for each of these competitors, here's what you want to do. You want to study the website, their ad copy, everything that's available, and identify what their taglines are and what their claims are, the messages. And then you want to compare against, if there were no messages, what you would think the site was, how you would make a claim if you were their site. What do you see? Are there inconsistencies? Are there other X factors that they're not claiming that are a little clearer? This will give you a great idea of how strong or weak your competitors are. Now you have to do the exact same thing for your site. And the reason you do this is to help you learn your landscape. So eventually you want to choose to be different. So you can figure out what people are claiming and you can do something better than they claim. Like the fraternity company that knew that someone was claiming 60,000 Greeks served, and we had served 1 million at that point. But it also gives you a great sense, the first time you're internalizing during this process, why people choose you versus why people choose your competitors. Because it's not just you all have the same product and price is the only thing that matters. It's really not like that. People are choosing different businesses to buy from for many different reasons. As we get into the next part, I have a quote here from one of our internet marketing strategists, Stacey Bennett. Stacey says, strategy is identifying the sweet spot that will deliver consistency. If you continue to deliver consistently towards that sweet spot, that will allow for growth and a profitable return. So let's get there now. We've done a competitive analysis. We have a decent sense of what's going on. Let's get much deeper with what the opportunities are in front of us. So this is a SWOT analysis. SWOT is something that a lot of people have done for their businesses. If you've ever been in any management courses, you've already done this. But this is the chance for you to do it in a way that is incredibly meaningful, that could potentially lead to a new plan for the next 2 years of your business. And when we're going through the strengths on this side, remember, your strengths should try to be unique. They should be something that other people are not doing. Your weaknesses should be incredibly honest. Be harsh on yourself. Your opportunities should be very realistic. And your threats should somehow connect to opportunities. All right, so one of the first ones we're going to look at here is, for the internal factors of strengths and weaknesses, stock and availability. The reason we start here is a lot of the people that attend our webinars and are part of our database and interact with Exclusive Concepts are businesses that have been in business for 10 years, 10 plus years online. And as a well-established business, there are certain things that you have that a new business will not have. And one of those things is often stock and availability. So do you have any advantages or disadvantages with stock? If so, what items, what categories? And does your stock give you any extra momentum with the segment? For example, our client that had $1.2 billion in stock. Yeah, it helped them with larger buyers. And if so, if you have this stock, can you take advantage of the in-stock with Google Shopping or any other PLA, Amazon PLA, Bing PLA? Can you emphasize the breadth of your inventory in a way that is meaningful to an audience? How should you change your messaging to reflect this availability? Next thing you may want to consider as one of your strengths or weaknesses is what segments are buying from you, right? So out of all the people you're trying to target, what segments are buying from you and what segments seem to be non-starters? Can you clearly define what differentiates them? And now, if you identify who is buying from you, start thinking about what products, content, experience that segment wants. So let's do some examples here. We have over 20 examples that we're bringing in here to show some of these strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Capellos. Fantastic example of knowing your segment. So Capellos targets people who are trying to have a gluten-free diet. And in the spirit of going against the grain, what they've done is, for this unique audience that some people are doing it to take a different approach to diet than the mainstream. There's this counter culture aspect of the gluten-free world. And this is something that Capello's tapped into. So they created a counterintuitive website. They created a fashion site for food. And as you go through Capello's gluten-free, it is amazing. It is a beautiful fashion-forward website. And this is actually something that can be used for any industry. This concept of just becoming a fashion-oriented site for XYZ to differentiate yourself, if that makes sense with your audience, it is something that is that has potential to be your X factor. Lilly Pulitzer understood that one of the reasons that people shop with Lilly Pulitzer in the first place is Lilly Pulitzer is known for prints. So because they're known for prints and they're driving a segment of people who are interested in prints, instead of creating a traditional shopping experience, what they did was created a shopping experience based on prints. So you actually shop and choose what you're going to look at based on a navigation of prints. It is a fantastic concept. Dollar Shave Club is one of the funniest websites online, and it happens to be an online retail site. So because Dollar Shave Club is trying to drive people to their homepage to sign up for something that is just about $1 a month, very cheap shaving equipment, it seems like they have identified that the college kid is going to be their perfect target audience, so they created some college-style humor. So if you want to see a website that is truly genius when it comes to humor, and it happens to be an online retail, definitely check out Dollar Shave Club. If you target the college world, this may be an ideal option for you as well. Okay? More strengths and weaknesses that you might have. Think about the relationship you have with loyal customers. Do you have a unique, strong relationship with certain customers? What customers are most loyal to you and your brand? How do you define them? If you do have loyal customers, here's what you start thinking about. What does this enable you to do? Can you help one of your vendors sell their products faster because you know that you can take it to marketplace through your database? Can you sell more products to frequent buyers if you know that people have an ongoing need from your type of inventory? Should you create an account rep role on the back end so that someone from your business is actually corresponding with your top buyers and trying to get them to buy more? These are all things to consider. Now, Staples has done a great job with understanding its type of customers and the loyalty of its customers. They know that over time, businesses have started to use Staples for all their office supplies needs. And they have Staples cards. They're always approved to buy anything from Staples from their management, etc. They have this going, this loyalty concept going. They sell direct to business. They have a great value prop. Next day shipping is always free, and businesses already use them. So what they saw as an opportunity was, well, when people buy staplers from us, they know to buy from Staples, but then they also need to buy snacks for their office, janitorial equipment, things like that. Are they going to our competitors, or are they trying to find someone else who's selling this? Because we could sell it to them too. So that's what they started doing, focusing on all needs for businesses, snacks, janitorial, etc. And they even took the L out of Staples, which used to be a paperclip, and they've replaced it with other things to demonstrate to the buying world that they're not just about paperclips and staplers anymore. A genius idea. Other strengths and weaknesses are your database, its size, its quality. This analysis might take a little bit of depth. You want to identify how many individuals you have in your email database. Check out your social, your remarketing audiences through AdWords, whatever marketing platform you're using, start analyzing how qualified this database is as well. Then you can start thinking about whether or not you can take advantage of this database to build your business much larger. You also need to think about how you can build the database much larger as well. Amazon is a great example of a company that focuses purely on its database. It wants to have the largest customer set. And to create the largest customer set, what it is set out to do from the beginning is create a vision where customers can find and discover anything they may want to buy online at the lowest possible prices. So two things at the same time. They want to have everything, and they want it to be the lowest possible price. In many ways, it's like a search engine now. Amazon is a search engine where you are searching for products to buy with, in the back of your mind, some kind of idea that the price is going to be the lowest. Which means that Amazon is not doing everything that every customer wants. That the spectrum of values that people have when it comes to buying online, only a small portion of that spectrum is going to be met by Amazon ever. Selection and price. Okay, so before we switch from internal factors to external factors, where the concept gets much, much bigger, we took two things that are mentioned from two different IMSs at Exclusive Concepts. Tom Yakas said, strategy is staying current while identifying opportunities to make more money. Tim Smith said, strategy is analysis, prioritization, and adaptation over the short term. But it's the long term that matters here. Allowing one to outperform competition or find a place where there is no competition in the long run. So it's a long game with series of analysis and prioritization and adaptation in the short term to get to that long point. So one of the first things you can look at is customer service. And it seems like a small concept, but it's not a small concept. We're going to go through quite a few examples that will really open up your mind in terms of what customer service should be online. What you want to ask yourself is, are there gaps in the marketplace when it comes to customer care, service, and support? If so, identify that gap, utilize available technologies, and commit to this 100%. Here are three examples. Blinds.com. If you went into a Home Depot or Lowe's, you're trying to buy blinds, you're going to get someone who kind of understands what they're doing to help you out. If you can flag someone down, that is. What Blinds.com did was, in real time, you can get someone to help you out. A virtual salesperson that will actually walk you through the warehouse virtually through Skype and GChat, whatever it may be, and allow you to see different inventory. Simple technology to overcome the biggest challenge in the marketplace. That is something that can be copied by a lot of different retailers. Glasses.com realized that, when you walk into a Sunglass Hut, one of the things you get from a Sunglass Hut is you can try on glasses. And that changes what pair of glasses you're going to buy. You just can't do that online. So instead of just falling in line with this obstacle, Glasses.com decided to build the only technology that would allow them to be the only option online where you could virtually wear glasses. So through their app, you can actually try on a pair of glasses on your face to see what it looks like, which is an amazing, highly efficient concept and probably years ahead of their competition when it comes to this. Rivets and Sway also sells glasses, but they saw their opportunity as something slightly different. They thought when someone comes into lens crafters and you sit down with one of those lens specialists, what you get from them is they say, you know what would look great on your face? This pair. Now try that on. There's two things that are happening there. One, someone is suggesting what you should wear, And number 2, you're trying it on. And Riverson's Way found a way to do both of those things. You can actually have a personal stylist work with you through the website, and then they will send you the products to try on at home. So you can literally do everything you would do at a Lens Crafters just by going onto your tablet and in bed in the middle of the night and start committing to a purchase that you would typically not have the time to do during your workday. Amazing concept. Okay, other external factors, opportunities and threats that you want to think about. Can you exploit particular channels more? Do you have too much invested in just one channel? You know, a lot of people invested in SEO very heavy till 2011. And for those who didn't have AdWords or any other channels, they lost a lot of money. They didn't have a safety net. You want to ask yourself, are your specific users more prone to using particular social media channels? Maybe they use Pinterest or they use Instagram, something like that. So by studying your audience, you want to think about new channels to invest in. And you also want to make sure that as you invest in these channels, that the rest of the funnel is really strong, your conversion and your retention side. So here's 2 examples of businesses that identified something unique about their audience. Bourbon and Boots put this particular image, this Johnny Cash necklace image, on their website. They tried to create an image and content that they thought would be pin-worthy on Pinterest. And it was. 166,000 pins as of the time that we put this up on the website, on this presentation. So now every single decision they make goes back to, we need to keep our edge when it comes to Pinterest. They have a hugely active pin wall, and the way that they curate their products and the type of images they put on the website are all conscious of whether or not it will help them further their Pinterest activity. NYX Cosmetics realized that some of their users were Instagramming themselves with using their eyeshadow, etc. And instead of just letting that go and letting their users use Instagram on their own, they started connecting with their customers and even integrating those Instagram pictures into their website to foster more of that activity. If they already had a leg up on it, why not make sure that that momentum continues to go as strong as possible? And now Instagram users of this audience are constantly seeing NYX cosmetic products. Okay? Other external factors, other major competitors getting into your space like Amazon, Walmart. And as we discussed Amazon earlier, are there areas where they just can't bring enough value? You know, trying to be the widest selection and the lowest price doesn't mean you're doing everything. So if you can figure out what your audience would value that Amazon and the other big players cannot do, deliver on those needs. And do everything that the large players will absolutely never do. Here's 2 examples. Kershaw Knives realized that Amazon would never create the type of filter system that only Kershaw Knives and its users would ever want. A filter system where you could filter down to Loctite, blade edge, knife style, blade length, use and function. These are things that only true enthusiasts could create and imbibe within a filter system. This is once again something that you can do in almost every industry. Petflow.com realized that everyone who has a pet loves to share anything about their pet to anyone who asks. So if anyone asks me to see a picture of my dog, I have a section of my phone just for that. And they knew that, and they harnessed that. When you come to petflow.com, the most prominent thing you'll see is, if you're new here, click like below, and if you're a pet lover like us, please post a pic of your beautiful pets. They took advantage of the fact that people are dying for someone to ask them to see a picture of their pet. 1.3 million likes. This is the most prominent element on their entire website. It's absolutely fantastic what they've done. Other external factors. Niche competitors, your direct competitors. Do some niche competitors have a stronghold? Are they underserving parts of your market? And if so, where? How can you be different? If you identify a way to be different from your top players, choose to be different from especially your major competitor. And focus on a value that you've identified as being under-delivered in your marketplace. Here are quite a few examples, because this is probably the biggest area where people can come through. BlueCotton.com. Realize that people are trying to buy personalized products online, and all competitors keep saying it's customizable, customizable, customizable. Even some people say fast. But Blue Cotton said, we're going to say custom and fast. We're going to say clearer more often, and we're going to optimize our entire operation towards delivering on custom and fast better than anyone else. Just those two things. Not the widest selection or anything like that. And by doing that better than anyone else, everyone else just seems like a copycat if they try. And if they try to operationalize as much as they've done, it will still be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years behind Blue Cotton. Indochino. Indochino sells slightly higher end suits and custom tailored shirts. Now, why do you go to a custom tailor? You go to a tailor because you want that tailor fit. That tailor fit usually takes a tailor being right in front of you and measuring how to create that tailored fit. Now, Indochino set out to do the same thing but online. So through a process where you buy from them and it goes back and forth, and they make customizations and custom tailorings to your suit, and then save your profile with your dimensions so you can buy from them in the future and it continues to be custom tailored to your body. They've been able to bring everything that you expect from your neighborhood tailor online, potentially with better prices and better access to higher quality materials. One of the things that they really do very well is, I use myself as an example. When I met my wife 13 years ago, I weighed 115 pounds. And then I got all the way up to 195, so 80 pounds. And then I went down to 155, and I'm back up to like 172. My body shape keeps changing. And if I was a shopper of Indochino, I could send back my suits, and as my measurements change, they will actually re-tailor the products to fit my new measurements. An amazing concept. GreatsBrand.com wanted to deliver on something that made people feel like they were looking at a selection that was carefully curated and an experience that was custom delivered. And instead of trying to do this on hundreds of thousands of products or hundreds of thousands of pages on their website, GreatsBrand.com is essentially a one-page site where you're scrolling through a collection of similar products. At the bottom are the ones that are they're already out of stock because everyone's already bought them. They're sold out. And towards the top are the ones that are still available. And every day you can go there and just focus on a small section of products. Now, this can be done for any industry where you're selling something that people want, they don't need. because they can come and buy as often as possible from you. Now, ScottEvest.com tried to do something incredibly genius from the beginning and showed a commitment that was well beyond what anyone else would do. Scott identified that there was a way to create a vest where all the tech needs of a person could fit within the vest itself, and then try to deliver a way for people to recognize that, and that is through the X-ray view of their products. Now, the people at Scott eVest were nice enough to give us a breakdown of how they arrived at this. They said Scott's unique approach to selling his vest is marketing to the tech and travel savvy individual. Our X-ray vision helps our customers to understand our intricate and unique pocket design. Scott eVest has helped to eliminate the need to carry a briefcase, purse, or other handbag because you can now carry all of your essentials in the pockets of just one jacket and wire your headphones and batteries throughout. Scott's main advice for other online retailers who are looking to create a unique advantage is to find what people need and go from there. Reach outside the box and find a need. He also suggests to those starting a unique business venture to never let others set your bar. Set your own bar and aim 10 feet above it. That came from Mallory Spica, Pocket Expert, Scott eVest Inc. You could tell how committed they are to their unique vision by having titles like Pocket Expert. Planet Blue. Planet Blue realized that its niche competitors who are trying to sell slightly higher end dresses, $250, $300, always had to be handicapped by the fact that if someone liked something and they were going out that night, they would never be able to get it online. So even though Planet Blue couldn't do this for everyone across the globe or even the nation or even across the state of California, they knew they could deliver this in LA. So what they did was create an option for same-day LA delivery. And that is, once again, something that might be a possible X factor for any one of the businesses out there. Something else you want to consider: do you have unique vendor relationships? Do you have strong enough vendor relationships in general? Can some of your relationships be used to greater benefit? Can some vendors give you opportunities to expand? For example, if you have a vendor that is selling you highly modern add-ons to homes, and you as the buyer are trying to reach an audience of contractors, you might go to your vendor and say, I think contractors don't just want this one product that I buy from you. Do you have anything else that would be modern equipment for the home that I could bring and expand my sales to these contractors? That is something that we're doing with one of our clients right now that sells LED rope lights for contractors. We're trying to help them identify other type of offerings that are just as cool as LED rope lights that their contractors might want to buy, and their vendors might be able to offer them. Some of the things that we advise are build strong relationships with all your vendors and discuss what competitors are doing. Your vendors are a great source of information. And when you're talking to your vendors, always articulate who your audience is and ask your vendors to give any suggestions of other categories or products that they might have for your audience. Market Feet has a unique relationship with their vendors. They have products that are created by artists, and instead of just allowing their website to be focused on the products, they've actually made the website also focused on the artists themselves. If you have that type of scenario, it is something that you can create for your own website. Okay, now that you've looked at your competitors, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, it's time to start honing in on a potential X factor. And to get there, we need to follow the rules, create at least 3 suggestions, and then support those suggestions with facts. So, Ken Estridge, once again, says your X factor should be like a caricature. It emphasizes certain elements over others. You're not everything to everyone. You're not normal. And at IRCE 2013, we had a caricature artist do our caricatures, and just as my nose and my ear and my chin may be emphasized by a caricature artist, that's similar to what you should be doing with your X factor, emphasizing it. One of the webinar attendees commented on this, on how harsh this was of a caricature of my face. Okay, so when defining the X factor rules, you want to review the notes that you've already taken and start circling what may look like a candidate. Now, your X factor, it should play to your strengths and not your weaknesses. It should take advantage of your actual opportunities. It should help stave off both imminent and long-term threats in your marketplace. It has to be relevant to your market, and more specifically to your existing high-value visitors. That's what we talked about, loyalty, etc. It should be something that your competitors are not claiming. If they're claiming it, they're not doing a great job with it, you might be able to claim it as well. But once you commit to this, conceptually, once you commit to this X factor, you should be able to believe that it will be very hard for one of your competitors to catch up if they started catching up or they tried to start catching up 1 year from now. Okay, so this was the second time where we asked people to tell us whether or not they have at least one idea for what their X factor might be. And now 49% of attendees had a very clear idea of what their X factor might be. So hopefully you're at that place as well. Now, if you have an idea of what it might be, can you come up with at least 3 facts? Things that you already have established within your business, or that you will commit to in your business to support your X factor claim. Over time, it should build from 3 to 5 to 10 to 15, because everything you do should be focused on maximizing your X factor over time once you've committed to it. Okay, now we'll do a quick commercial. So if anyone is watching this presentation, we have an offer for you, and then we'll continue. We have a few more parts left. So if you write to us at salesexclusiveconcepts.com, our webinar offer is that we will do what we call the Google audit for 2014. It uses a unique technology to identify a multitude of possibilities for your growth when it comes to PPC, Google Shopping, and SEO. The first thing we would do is actually a qualitative analysis. We have a very close relationship with Google, and one of the things we asked them to do for us was analyze, of the hundreds of different settings that exist in AdWords, what 6 settings correspond to the best performance when it comes to e-commerce. And we're going to check whether or not you have those settings working for you. Then we will do some calculations to identify whether or not your current agency is using metrics that are duping you and actually inflating your results. And easily 95+% of people that we talk to have that scenario going on. They think they have a positive metric, they have positive performance, and then when we use the right numbers, or we include gross margin, etc., we find out that they're losing money. This is probably one of the most important things we can identify for you. We want to identify, using a custom technology, how your users behave differently when you add a certain keyword within your ad copy. So for example, here's a recent analysis that we did where 77% of ads from this person mention the term free shipping. What you can see is when they mention free shipping, after cost of goods sold, they're losing 82 cents for every dollar they spend. But when they don't mention free shipping, they are spending $2,000 to make $9,000. And this doesn't include any brand ads. Now, why is it so different? Well, for people who are not mentioning, who did not come in through an ad mentioning free shipping, their conversion rate was double. It's possible that this website was not properly mentioning free shipping on their website. Average order value was higher, and when they did mention free shipping, Google was making them pay more for their ad, almost double. So everything else was in the profit zone. It could be the same thing for your site. We could test out any series of keywords during this audit. So again, just write sales@exclusiveconcepts.com to ask for this. Then we'll see how profitable you are when users are interacting with your ads on different devices. In this example, we see that a prospect, was spending 67% to create 81% of their sales through computers, but everything else was upside down. Disproportionately more spend and less revenue, and actually losing money. Then we will cross-segment that with all the different positions that you could target. Typically what we see is when you target the higher positions, especially position number 1, it is the most profitable. I will see whether or not that's the case for you, and what that means in terms of your ability to scale. Then we'll use another technology to calculate how many of your ads have a statistically valid trend line of loss. You're losing money versus a statistically significant trend line of success, of profit. And here's an example from actually last week where a prospect had spent $162,000 in the last 8 months on ads that had at least 200 clicks, but after cost of goods sold, they lost $72,000. They could have freed up those marketing dollars and invested it into any other marketing activity, and they would no longer have been neutralizing all the other cash impact they had from other activities. So without that, they would have made about $75,000 in cash positive, but instead they made about $0. This will be much clearer as we do this for your account. We'll also analyze whether or not you have any duplicate content issues from an SEO standpoint, whether you've been hit by Penguin or Panda, when, how, and why, whether or not your current content meets Google's guidelines and what you can do to improve. This is such a comprehensive audit. We'll even help you calculate the profit potential of investing in a more natural, healthy approach to SEO. And I'll actually be the one presenting it for you. So once again, write to sales@exclusiveconcepts.com. You can write to me and Rajpal at exclusiveconcepts.com, and we'll organize this free audit for your website. Okay, let's get back to the final few things to look at when doing your X-Talk. Positioning is next. Positioning is incredibly critical for what you do. Now that you know your X factor, you need to choose your audience very specifically. Who will you commit to now, and who will you no longer commit to? And this is incredibly important. Ken says strategy is saying no more than we say yes. Kevin Dacey, one of our internet marketing strategists, says strategy is the willingness to say no to focus on the right yes. Let's look at a few examples here. The Thai bar. The Thai bar targets men who are trying to buy, a guy who's trying to buy a tie and is not fashion savvy, has no idea what shirt to match this tie with, and they commit to this less trendy audience all the time while selling something that is hard to sell, which is a tie. It's for dressing up for an audience that doesn't like to dress up or doesn't know how to. So when you buy your tie, it will tell you what colors you can match with. It's a pretty cool concept, and throughout the website, it is speaking to an audience that is a little less fashion mature. UrbanGirl.com set out to sell office supplies that were different. And the people at UrbanGirl.com, Urban Girl herself, actually wrote in and gave us her story on how she came about creating Urban Girl. Now, Urban Girl wrote to one of our executive assistants, Leanne, an amazing email. Yoo-hoo, hey Leanne, hey girl, hey. I was in retail long ago, eeks, lots of longs, before my husband and I bought a commercial office supply company, Sundance Office Supply, in 1989. I always thought of office supplies as boring. Vanilla file folders, army green hanging file folders, only paired with bright red, orange, or purple does army green even make my radar. And black staplers, yawn. So the idea was in my head for years to market the colorful office to women who incidentally are the ones that make the purchases. It was harder than I thought it would be. E-commerce is fiercely competitive. My advice to potential e-commerce entrepreneurs: have a marketable idea. Have a mod, tech-savvy squad. And use a really good web marketing company. Surround yourself with people that are better than you. Embrace the word change. And be prepared to expand your vocabulary. Search engine optimization, pay for clicks or pay-per-click, conversions, organic searches, site speed, dynamic remarketing, metadata, bots crawling, and my favorite, canonicalize. That was Diane Condry, MissUrbanGirl.com. So when you're choosing your market, you want to be careful of who you're targeting and be cognizant of it. So for our market, we target mid to large size, only online retail. Now we can add more services that meet the specific needs of our unique market. Similarly, if you went from just being a company that sold any type of electronic to being one that sold only PCs to a market that is somewhere between high-end and hobbyists, here's the type of things you might want to do. Add more high-end products, add more hobbyist content, because hobbyists want deep content. Invest in more conventions where these hobbyists might be. Create more geeky viral content that hobbyists / enthusiasts would promote. Push for a higher lifetime value, because this is something that these hobbyists will buy over and over again. Make purchases more customizable. They have the money, it's high-end, and they want the most elaborate customizable concept. And because you're creating this experience, add greater margins. The worst thing you can do, Michael Porter says this, he's a professor at Harvard. He says, if you get into a price war, that is a war of attrition. Do what you can to not have to fight over price. Now you've done all this, your competitive analysis, your SWOT analysis, your positioning mapping. Now set yourself some smart initiatives to embrace that X factor. Those smart initiatives should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Smart. When you're choosing this, focus on what you will do to attract people, SEO, PPC, PLA. Focus on your conversion optimization. How will you change the user experience to be in line with this new X factor? Focus on your database, your email, or your social. How will you message your X factor, and how will you harness past customers towards that? Focus on the back end. If you're going to do something that utilizes your internal salespeople, your account managers, your vendors, think about that. Make sure you focus on your vendors as much as you can and your loyalists. All of it should come together and make your X factor stronger. So quick, have an execution checklist. Email us and ask us for a Google audit, because if we can help you make more money on PPC and Google Shopping or SEO or conversion or email, you're going to get an IMS for free, and they can help you with your X factor. It's a win-win-win. If you're doing this on your own, start with your competitor analysis, then your SWOT, then your X factor suggestions and your supporting facts. Make sure you follow the rules. choose your positioning. Who will you target? Who will you not target? And then create your SMART initiatives. And that's it. If you were there for the live webinar, there would be a QA right now. But since you are watching this in the recorded version or on-demand version, I hope you enjoyed it. This is Nik Rajpal signing out. And Rajpal at Exclusive Concepts at NIK_RAJPAL if you want to follow me on Twitter. And we hope to connect with you soon. And check out the other webinars we have live as well. Our Exclusive Concepts profile on YouTube has a series of other webinars from this year. We'll be getting many more out during the rest of the year. Thanks, folks.